Assalamu alaikum. A very good afternoon to everyone. This is Faisal Nadeem from AMP, Association of Muslim Professionals. A very warm welcome to everyone. Today we are here for the AMP free employability training program. Now I will do a brief presentation about AMP. AMP India Foundation is a non-for-profit organization registered under Section 8 of the Companies Act 2030, Government of India, for providing voluntary social services to meet the needs of underprivileged individuals, that is upliftment of the underserved and needy through education and vocational training, employment support, medical relief, economic empowerment, student mentorship and guidance. The above services are provided to needy individuals irrespective of caste, creed and religion. Employment assistance. Keeping in mind of AMP core objective of supporting the underprivileged, promoting education and creating economic empowerment, AMP had launched a special project named Employment Assistance Cell, and today it is one of the core projects of AMP. Major EAC activities. Our major EAC activities includes job fairs, job drives, employability training programs in colleges, skill training company tie-ups, candidate mobilization, skill development courses. Job fairs. Job fair is one of the flagship projects of AMP, and we have successfully organized 43 plus job fairs till date. Every job fair has a participation of minimum 50 companies and 2,000 plus candidates. AMP has organized job fairs in the past in collaboration with Thane Police, Aurangabad Police, West Bengal Minority Finance Development Corporation, Andhra Pradesh State Minorities Finance Corporation, and other reputed NGOs. Job drives. Job drives are similar to job fairs, but organized on a much smaller scale compared to job fairs. In a job drive, we typically invite only up to 2 to 3 corporates who have specific openings and advertise their openings profiles in order to attract suitable candidates. Employability training program. ETP is developed by the AMP to assist job seekers find the right job at the right place at the right time. We team up with the colleges in different cities and conduct ETP programs online as well as offline. Our training programs will cover the following: personality development, effective CV writing, interview techniques, job strategies. It aims to create awareness and groom young graduates to be professionals. Skill training company tie-ups. AMP has partnered with reputed skill training companies like Tata Trust, Whirlpool Tech Mahindra Foundation, etc. We have also arranged skill training melas in Mumbai by inviting around 20 skill training companies to hire and train unskilled candidates who could not pursue their higher studies after 10th and 12th standard. Candidate mobilization. MP has mobilized candidates for various skill development courses like home appliances technician, AC technician, mobile repairing technician, and solar engineering under Skill India mission in centers all across India. Our achievements: employment assistance, 43 plus job fairs, out of which 9 online job fairs, 275 plus job drives, out of which 20 online job drives, 220 plus employability training programs, out of which 37 plus online ETPs, 100 plus mock interviews in colleges, 25,000 plus candidates placed in jobs. Career Fest, organized 6 career fairs, benefited around 1,50,000 plus students till now. Our new initiative, empowersjobs.com, connecting right talent with right opportunity. Empowersjobs.com was launched on 6 December 2020. It is a unique job portal with comprehensive offerings introduced by India Foundation for job seekers, especially those hit by COVID pandemic. Thank you. Now I would like to invite the college P Magazine sir for a brief introduction about the college.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Professor Magdalene, HOD of Computer Science, Islamic College, Vaniyambadi. I'm happy to introduce about our department and also college, both to the resource person and to the AMP people, especially Mr. Nadeem. This is a 100-year-old college located in the rural part of Tamil Nadu, northern Tamil Nadu. It's Arts and Science College, started in the year 1919, and we are celebrating the 100th year of inception. Our college is known for its commerce department, science department, and mathematics department. Our department is a 23 years old department. It was started in the year 1988 with a graduate degree in computer science. Now the department is offering graduate degree in computer science, computer applications, and software computer science, and a master's degree in computer science, and a research degree, MPhil. Our department is one of the very few departments in the state of Tamil Nadu with a government aid. All the staffs are paid by the government, and very few institutions are of computer science are aided by the government. Our student strength is around 450 to 500 for all the departments. We have BCA shift 1, shift 2, BSA shift 1, shift 2. 4 departments are actually functioning here. Well, first of all, I would like to express my sincere thanks to our principal, Dr. Muhammad Elias, for permitting the department to have this webinar on essentials of data science. And also our thanks to our benevolent management and our secretary, Sahib, for permitting the department and encouraging the department to organize this webinar. Of course, the webinar should have been arranged some 2 weeks back itself. To be precise, it should have been arranged last year itself. Due to this pandemic reasons and other reasons, we could not have this program last year. And I should thank Mr. Nadeem for keeping on stressing about having a webinar in our college. In fact, I have been in touch with him for the past 2 years. Nadeem, can you remember we had a talk over this last year?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay. So,
well, so I take this opportunity to welcome AMP people and also especially Mr. Nadeem for this webinar. And I would like to thank the resource person, Mr. Yahya Rasheed, for accepting our invitation from the AMP and being part of this webinar, sir. Thank you, sir. Special
thank you, sir.
Special word of welcome to our department staff. They are very essential part of this webinar arrangements. They have toiled for this webinar for the past 2 to 3 days, setting up the Zoom connection in various labs and testing it. Thanks goes to my staffs, and I am also welcoming them. And last, my special word of welcome to my twinkling stars of the department, my dear students. Thank you very much for being over here. I welcome you on behalf of the department and also the staffs. And the today's topic is data science essentials. Data science is the domain of study that deals with the vast volumes of data using modern tools and techniques to find unseen patterns, derive meaningful information, and make business decisions. This data science has become an essential part of any industry today. Its method of transforming business data into assets and help organizations improve revenues, reduce costs, and seize business opportunities, improve customer experience, and a lot more. Its popularity has grown over the years. And the companies are
sorry to interrupt. Sir,
yes,
sorry to interrupt. We need to start the session. Only a brief introduction about the college.
Okay. Sure.
Okay. We should move forward.
There are many advantages are there, and I leave the resource person to deliver all those things.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Now I would like to introduce the speaker for today, Mr. Yahya Rasheed, sir. Mr. Yahya Rasheed, sir, has an overall experience of 22 plus years of work experience from organizations like Franklin, Templeton, Dell Technologies, Sutherland, HP, Enterprise, and DXY Technologies, held several leadership roles. Currently, Mr. Yahya Rasheed, sir, is serving as a global head of L&D, Workforce Transformation Quality, and head of Chennai Global Delivery Center at SCL Technologies. He has completed his MBA from IIM Bangalore, and he is a certified Lean Six Sigma Black Belt and hold multiple certification in info security, data privacy, project management, and data science. Thank you, sir. And now I would like to hand over the session to you. So it's all up to you. So thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for your kind words, Nadeem. Appreciate it. I hope everyone is able to view my screen.
Yes, sir. It is.
Okay. So let me quickly go through the slide. So the next, 60 to 75 minutes, I'll be talking about a primer on the opportunities of analytics and beyond, and what's the scope. How analytics has evolved. It's a different thing altogether right now, with a lot of big data getting amalgamated with the right of technology stack. Right today. It's all processed at the GPU, the graphical process unit. And with that, there's a tremendous amount of data that gets churned. And with also that, how you basically try to get insights from all of the data that gets collected, how it's harnessed. I'll be talking about all of that and also give you a context, because 60 minutes is far lesser time in terms of sharing a lot much of it, but we'll probably try to give you a flavor and open up for any Q&A, and then you guys all can kind of ask questions if you have any. Okay, so let me quickly go through what I would be sharing in the next 60 minutes. Right, it's more on introduction, state of the union of the IT industry. What is industry 4.0, what are the opportunities of gig economy, and so on. I think some of this is being covered with Nadeem. I'm currently, I serve as the global head of learning and development for HCL Technologies, along with their workforce transformation and quality, and also lead the Chennai Global Delivery Centers. Prior to that, I was with HP, HPE, and DXC for the last 15 years, and also worked with organizations at Franklin Templeton, Dell Technologies, and Sutherland, predominantly all in the IT space. I have my executive general management from IIM Bangalore, and also a business certificate on strategy and negotiations from NUS Business School, Singapore. I also hold a master's in computer applications from Indira Gandhi University. I have published a couple of white papers on robotics, process automation, artificial intelligence, and so on, and also the next one in terms of getting the net promoter score through positive customer experience. I am a speaker. I'm not a trainer. I speak on emerging technologies and topics of interest in multiple international and national forums, and so that's my background. So quickly going through the state of the union, right? What is the current state of the union when you look at the IT department? The reason why I kind of volunteered to do this session is to bridge the gap between the academia and the industry. That's the biggest challenge. When I go about searching for hiring professionals from the universities, we see a lot of gap, right? And so to address those gaps, we have to look at what are the skills that the institution can also harness, and the individual, the students can also harness this. The similar session I was asked to be facilitated at the new college. The management of new college had requested me, and so I shared the same set of slides, right? In terms of what it is from an academia standpoint, what will be for the second years and third years and final years, right? In terms of taking home the point of. So the state of the union today, you can see the last 15, 20 years, right? The last 2 decades. Some of the companies on the left-hand side, like Coca-Cola, Microsoft, and IBM, I think Microsoft is trying to remain relevant, but if you look at the overall gamut of things, right? Most of the oil and other automobile companies have all gone down relative to what it is on the right-hand side in the last 18 years. Here it's a new age companies, Google, Amazon, and Microsoft, and other companies of the world, right? You see Facebook. This is a 2018 stack, but if you look at 2021 stack, you will see Facebook, Google, Amazon, Tesla, and those kind of things. You will be on top, right? All other companies have really moved out. If you know the reason, it's all got to do with the disruption that has followed the last 2 decades. One of the major aspects of that is in terms of how well the companies have evolved, leveraging web, leveraging cloud, and leveraging the SMAC technologies, the social analytics, as well as cloud, how well they're able to amalgamate all of that. You call that SMAC. So that has really, catapulted the entire companies into the top leagues. Earlier, oil companies were ruling the roost, right? Today, oil is not there because there was a disruption getting into emerging technologies, which Tesla has got with lithium, with various self-driving cars, and a lot of that, and just disrupted the entire automobile space. All right. And then the entire technology space, the semiconductors and the other various components of the technology stack has also improved, right? Today, most of it is on the edge. It's no more cloud computing; it's edge computing, right? The amount of analytics that comes out is on the board of the hardware, right? And so that's the power of software plus the hardware, with the data that these social media has all thrown up with cloud and so on, has ensured that the entire profiling is getting completely amalgamated and making insights. And companies today, they call it data is the new oil. If data is the new oil, then business analytics, right, is the refinery of that. So that's how important analytics is. If you have data, it doesn't make sense if you're not able to kind of conceptualize it and try to monetize it. All right. If you look at going to the next slide, digital is all about user experience, right? And so user expectations are defined by the internet giants. Yesterday, there was a complete outage of WhatsApp, Insta, and Facebook. Imagine so many people where there was a lot of discussions going around and sharing that, we're just missing WhatsApp, we're missing Facebook. So much of user experiences today controlled by these apps, right? And that's because they have completely understood our expectations, our user experiences expectations. How do we communicate? How do we relate to all of the data feeds and speeds that come in, right, and so on. So though these applications today are becoming a phenomenal progress, and you must have seen yesterday's 6-hour outage of Facebook and Insta has led to 6 billion wipeout from the market for these companies, right? And um, um, Zuckerberg and Facebook has really got bad reviews because of this particular outage. So that's the kind of impact that these are covering. Before I move on, are you able to follow, or should I use Urdu or something like that, if I may ask? Is English the preferred medium, or should I have to bring in Urdu? These are the kind, right? Uber today knows what are our driving patterns, and how does it do? Uber does not have a single taxi service, right? And so is Airbnb. They don't have any properties. All they have is to connect the entire, get us on the platform and start, leveraging how best you are able to solve the problem. And transportation was one of the key problems, right? Which Uber came up with their own set of algorithm and ensured that all the taxis were on their platform. They platformed them, and then the magic happened, and people were able to sign up, get into Uber, and get things working. Let me move on to the next slide. So here the IT industry itself, right, has undergone a different kind of a technology paradigm shift, right, with various implications for the service providers. When you look at the cycle one, the first cycle that happened, right, and was the mainframe, which was the total addressable market, what you call it TAM, was about $100 billion. It was pre-90s, and that's where the IT industry really kind of took off. So what was the value creation process is more of setting up IT environment, business capability, increasing productivity. Now, in those days, in a day and age where computer was considered foreign, and they used to say that, hey, you know what, computer will come and take over our jobs. It was more of taking over like a typewriters and kind of those kind of things is what will get disrupted is what that was the kind of yo factor, right? And then what was needed to succeed was the capital and the scale, which was extremely challenging during the 80s era, and how you get the scale of it. Now you had if I have to give you an example, the Indian Railways booking system was considered one of the biggest automations, if you may ask, but that was not. The scale was very restricted. If you have to, there was always a hitch, right? If you have to book a ticket, people used to go to Trichy to book a ticket to Mumbai or some of the frequently visited locations. So because there was a hitch that that entire network was controlled to a very limited area of within Chennai. So every geos were given a quota that once they completed it off, it was complete, and then the people could not book. So that was an inefficient way of developing a system. So scale and capital was needed to succeed, right? And what was the business issues? Unresponsiveness. If you go to a railway booking center, we would not know whether we'll come back with a ticket, right? And so it was very unresponsive and capital intensive. Used to have huge RS6000 servers and so on to run those entire applications. Cycle 2 saw IT stack disaggregation, right? And that the entire total addressable market kind of moved to about 300 billion. That disruption happened during the 90s to 2000s, and that's where the dot coms and so on and so forth started to come in. The age of the internet, the telecom, and the computers started to kind of synchronize, right? So what are the value creation, growth of technical solutions, innovations of each layer of various network? You have the data link layer, the network layer, application layer. A lot of that started to get into innovation mode. We had the influx of the cellular, mobile, and so on, right? What was needed to succeed? Skill developers, and that's where the 90s saw the boom of people migrating to the US and to Europe and so on, right? And so lack of skilled developers, innovation. How do you solve large ticket items? That was getting into the ideas of proof of concept. And from a business issue standpoint, high costs, skill gaps, and complex IT environment. So that was getting into a bit of a problem, and that's where skill gaps. A lot of the professors spoke about the institution that was created, right, Islamia College. But if you look at the computer science department, have gone through a different refresh after the 90s, because the universities thought that they were teaching like Fortran and COBOL and those type of things all got refreshed, and object-oriented programming, RDBMS, and those kind of topics got into BSc computer science and MCAs and so on. Complex IT environment was considered one of the key challenges, because it was all huge setups, which really challenged different onsets of new transformation journeys, right? Cycle 3 was the globalization and outsourcing, and this started, I think, in the beginning of 2000, the advent of ITES and business process outsourcing, business process services, business transformation, those kind of things, right? That was manage my mess for less. They used to, the large corporations used to send their back offices, the IT infrastructure to low-cost locations like India, Philippines, and other locations, and they wanted us to manage that because with the advent of stronger networks, secure networks, and technology stack, things got better, efficiency was better, or follow the sun model was starting to get into, and then you had a better control on the overall scheme of things. What was needed to succeed again in this, it was more of capital and labor arbitrage, right? The cost of one resource from the US, if you have to get them on, if the guy was earning about $30,000 per month, we used to get it here at $250, right? So that was a labor arbitrage that was done. Scope for standardization, because most of the processes used to move out from different locations. So that really helped in terms of standardizing the processes and procedures. Business issues was extreme cost focus, laser focused on margins, and lack of innovation. Right, this engine started to happen, and then uh, uh, with there was no scope of innovations at all. And then the rigid contracts meant that we had to follow the book, and we had no qualms about it. The next one was in terms of the digital transformation. Digital disruption was the one which is the current cycle that we are in. It's a $1.5 trillion worth of TAM. Every organization today is vying to get that the whole scheme of things. Uh, Value creation is definitely, as I spoke about the previous slides, outside innovations, right? What is the solve that we're going to talk about? Uber was identified transportation, the kind of urban transportation was the biggest challenge, with a lot of people getting fleeced. So how do we get it? Digital platforms started to come in. Today, a Kirana shop could get into a platform like Geo and start selling, right? And or a small and medium organization can get into a platform like Amazon and sell their products at the global scale, right? So at scale, digitization of workflows was the value creation in this current journey. What was needed to succeed was access to technologies, right? Do we get the right set of technologies? Today we talk about VMware, virtualization is there, Google Workspace, and see Zoom. We are able to communicate. I am in Chennai, and the college is in things. So basically, we are able to communicate without much of a leverage using these kind of workspace technologies, and also access to partnerships, right? Multiple companies join hands together to ensure that the overall outcomes are achieved at scale, and skill and cost efficiency was what was needed. So how do we ramp up? Or when we have a product that is launched, we look at what are the scale and skill that is required to offload those required efficiencies, and we go after it, right, and then try to get it done. Similarly, cost efficiency is one of the other area, because as all organizations get into this model, there's also pressure on the cost and margins, so getting things done. What are the business issues? Widening skill gaps, right? Transformation pressure, widening skill gaps. Today, some of the technocrats today work on Python and different kind of tools. There are multiple tools available, but to earlier, automation was automating the logics. But today, automating not just the logics, but the algorithms have to be automation of the thought process. That's the difference. You understand the data insights, understand how the behavior of the consumer, and you automate and put it in an algorithm. That's the difference here. It's not easy. So map plays a very important role in terms of getting those skills updated. So again, the current model is the refresh of universities are happening. If you look at a lot of, I was called for this Techstars in Anna University in Chennai, and I was asked by the engineering, I was asked by some of the HODs as to if these refresh of these programs and courses make sense from an industry standpoint, what we need to do. So I did have a conversation, and most of it evolves around how well you are able to create your data structures. What are the skills that are required from a individual standpoint, and so on. Similarly, business model disruption, looking at it from an end-to-end, big picture standpoint, and try to get things moving. Not look at it as a silo, but looking at it from the entire 9 yards. Let me move on to my next slide, which is automation, right? The automation is transforming the entire IT services. Today, it's no longer labor intensive. We have bots coming in, right? If we don't scale up, we will ship out. So we have to have the right kind of skills. I will talk about the skills at the later point of time, but what I wanted to share is that we'll have to keep reinventing ourselves. as students. It's no longer institutions. When you join a college, when I used to join, I did my master's in computer application. I joined a college and that's it. And the institution gave me all the necessary inputs. But now it's important that the student starts to get into what is required, right? What are the skills that I need to do? Be well read in what the technology, what the institutions, what the organizations are looking at, and how I can probably build the bridge. Bridging the gap is what we need to look at, right? So onshore labor force, which was there earlier, is slowly starting to get cannibalized by these bots, right? You have this RPA and so on. So slow and steadily starting these bots are getting to do what a human used to do, which is less of decision making and more of repeated tasks, right? That used to get that is getting automated. And so with that, we have this offshore labor force slowly starting to get shrunk, and then there's cost efficiencies as well. And slowly we have this. There are three concepts which I wanted to introduce, which is the humanics, the mechanics, and the economics, right? So all the three are today, kind of interlinked together. And the humanics part is more into getting into value-added stuff. The mechanics is more in terms of how well, with the leverage of tools and technology, will go ahead and get things automated. And then the economics ensures that these two are in sync to ensure that this cost of quality is it's manageable, as well as the increased margins as well. So we'll have to look at it both in those paradigms. And then there's also speed, right? At what speed that you want to deliver. So today, as today there was an outage, there's a global outage for 6 hours, right? Facebook and Insta and all of that. You know what kind of thing they didn't share much. They just said that it's a DNS issue and there's some other issue that they're trying to figure out. But you know the amount of effort that goes into just 6 hours. Earlier, about 10 or 12 years back, 6 hours was considered it was given. But today, it's 6 hours means it translates into humongous dollar terms. So any outage, anything. So our systems and our entire delivery model has to be completely predictable with the least possible reduction in downtime. So that's how every contract today is where organizations, when they go into this IT services, they want to ensure that the outage has to be negligible or zero. And that's how the contract is. If it exceeds, then the service provider has to pay a penalty clause. There's a penalty clause that is added to it, and then you pay penalties for that, right? And then you had so the robots is basically, you're seeing on the bottom right, the future is the robots taking over, right? Most of the repetitive tasks, even basic decision making support, the robots are able to find out if it's algorithmically developed in the right sense. So the future is the mechanics. The humanics part will be doing more of value-added work, and that's where data analytics plays an extremely important role. And all of this data analytics is in the center of the entire value stream. So moving to the next slide, today companies are facing numerous challenges, right? Customer loyalty is under pressure as the internet is for everything, fundamentally changes expectations. How do our products update? And these are all things that comes from the CXOs, right? And these quests basically come from them. How do we get our products updated faster than ever before? How do we delight our customers? Today, Twitter was making fun of Facebook and Instagram. Telegram, you know what? There were about close to about 800K new users who signed up for Twitter. And WhatsApp saw huge amount of their customers or users moving to Telegram and Signal. See what a 6-hour outage can really rupture long-term customer behavior. And that is why it is very, very important that we have all hands on deck in terms of ensuring that these things are extremely taken care of. And all of that comes through is by real-time analytics. Whether the systems are working fine. We have We have systems, the edge computing today ensures that we have minute data. It is able to automate it and also pass on that information back on us. And this cycle keeps going on and on and on, right? And so it's important, and that's why the role of a data analyst, data analytics, has become so central within the entire organization, that they constantly keep leveraging every function, be it marketing, be it IT, be it sales. Everybody today is looking at this gold mine of it, right? How do we respond to our customers who demand better services at lower price? Nimble startups are entering our markets with breakthrough technologies that challenge our legacy business. So you know Nokia, what had happened, right? When Nokia started off, it was kind of leading the roost, but today Nokia is just not even there, right? It's fighting for relevance. So that's the importance, right? You have to keep re-innovating, and refer back to my first slide, where how you saw new age companies starting to get to the top, right? Margins will get under pressure as the world changes rapidly. Just give me a minute. Let me take some. So I'll give you a flavor of what Industry 4.0 is, right? Industry 4.0 is nothing but the digital transformation, this digital disruption. Now, if you look at telephone, right, 19 not or 18, when Graham Bell came up with this, it took 75 years to be globalized. Web, it came in, it was all part of the US Department of Defense. They shared that after the World War II, and they kind of went for commercialization, and it took 7 years, and everybody knew what the World Wide Web was. Everybody used to have a website, everyone used to send emails, and so on and so forth. Facebook, 2004, right? And then by 2008, everybody had an account. Insta, much faster too. And then Clubhouse, they were really not even in the they were in the alpha and beta stage, and they already clocked close to 100 million customers. That's the reach. That's the reach that we are looking at today. It's all about scale that matters. The evolution of the desk has moved tremendously, all over. New technologies are getting adopted. New streams are getting adopted. So Industry 4.0 is basically, focusing on all of this. If you look at my right-hand side diagram, right, we start off with smart sensors. So this smart sensors captures data, and then you have the big data analytics and advanced algorithms. So you get all of this information and then pass it on to the big data analytics and advanced algorithms for automation, and then you get the multi-level customer interactions and customer profiling, whatever the transactions that happen. So you must have seen there's a deal, right, which Geo went ahead and bought Just Dial. Why did Geo went ahead and bought Just Dial? Do you know? Geo is what? It's a mobile company, right? Start thinking around those lines. So what does Geo got to do with mobile? So Geo came up with their Geo platforms, right? What is Geo platforms? Basically, ensuring that the entire farm to fork, you name it, you have it. All the stores are getting platformed into Geo platforms, right? And then when you have the user data of Just Dial, add it and integrate it into it, then you create magic, right? You have the customers' names, addresses, everything, and what they need, the behavior patterns, what they want to buy, everything. So then they create magic. Augmented reality and wearables. Now there is a talk, when the pandemic happened, and when people were not allowed to go to the Hajj, to perform Hajj, right? There was a discussion whether among the muftis and ulamas, whether using augmented reality, can people start performing Hajj? That's the level of the technology landscape, right? It's as if augmented reality will ensure that we are in Mina, we are in Makkah, Medina, everywhere. And then you have this cloud computing, where everything is on the cloud, on the go. There's no, things that you got to worry about. There's no centralized location. Decentralized completely. Everything is on the cloud. You have the data on the go. Then you have the connected mobile devices, followed by Internet of Things platform. Now, Internet of Things platforms are nothing but your wearables, right? Well, all the different kind of IoT devices. You go for a walk. You know your heart rate. Then based on the heart rate, your ECG is calculated, and the ECG is transmitted to your doctor's desk, and so on. Everything, location detection technologies. You go to say for a coffee shop, then you will get a hell of a lot of advertisements on your Facebook and your Insta and all that, right? That's because of all of this. Then advanced human machine interfaces that comes up. Then authentication of fraud detection, 3D printing, big thing that is going to come up, right? Today, houses are getting 3D printed. Weapons will get 3D printed. Planes will get 3D printed. A lot of things are getting there. So this is the end-to-end digitization of all the physical assets into digital ecosystems, right? So that's the whole gamut of Industry 4.0. So what is cognitive computing? Cognitive computing is nothing but connecting the human mind's balance of reasoning and creativity with the power of modern technology. I told you, right? Today we are talking about GPUs. Earlier it was CPU, Central Processing Unit. Today, Graphical Processing Unit. And tomorrow, you will with the edge, it's going to really, take the semiconductors. Are getting very powerful today, right? And with that, with you harness the power of technology, you're able to create magic, right? So that's how with humanics and the mechanics, which I'm talking about, will create the right kind of automation initiatives. So getting started with AI, data science, machine learning, and deep learning. So what is data science? Data science is there are about close to 8 key mechanisms, right? 8 key sub-functions. One is domain expertise. Within the data science, if you go into domain expertise, extremely important. What's domain expertise? When you want to go ahead and do analysis, you should know what the industry that you're talking, what domain are you talking about? Is it a life sciences and healthcare domain? Is it a manufacturing domain? Is it an automobile or whatever, right? You have to get the domain expertise done. And then you have data engineering, where you have multiple facets of how you get different cuts and slices of data. And along with the cognitive sciences that come up, artificial intelligence is one such thing. How well you get into different, make sense out of nonsense, basically, is all we kind of look at from cognitive sciences and artificial intelligence. Then what happens? We make the machine learn, the deep learning. What are the various options? If today there is this quantified self which a soldier wears in the US, right? The soldier is prompted what needs to get done, and that's going to get transferred to a robot, right? And what kind of triggers that he needs to done when he is encountered with an enemy fire is something. It's all about deep learning, right? Drones, what we have today, is going to deliver different kind of services, is part of the deep learning ecosystem. Machine learning, same thing. When you go look at your phones, right? If you Google and do a search, then machine learns how your patterns are, what are your search patterns, what you look at, and those kind of things. Mathematics and statistics, it's a key function of data science. If you don't have inclination of mathematics and statistics, don't even think of getting into this field, because this is not for you. Of course, you can create magic with arts, but that will be a enabler, not a central function. Model research, different models will get up. How do you look at doing a proof of concept of those model research and try to embed into the overall solution, is what data science is all about. So these are all the interdisciplinary functions, right? That all rolls up under the data science umbrella. Now, what are the AI-driven delivery transformation for predictive analytics? Now, design data science is, how you solve problems within the service delivery. You have pattern recognition to uncover hidden patterns from the delivery systems. Then you have machine learning algorithms that captures the repetitive tasks and how do get automation assessments. And then you have statistical modeling where you capture actionable intelligence to drive productivity and efficiency in code delivery. So these are the multiple facets of how AI today is using business data analytics in terms of driving some of the key learnings. Machine learning is nothing. If I have to give you an example of machine learning, right? It's your driverless cars. The machine using the sensors captures the information, and that information is does an algorithmic view, understands how the routes are by connecting the GPS, and then they start working on. Similarly, pattern recognition. When you do a search, you get all the patterns right, and a Google can simply do it right now itself. You figure that out. Similarly, statistical modeling, what are the various cuts and slices, like for example, customer experience. At what point of time do you get a dissatisfied customer? What time of the day that you get a satisfied customer? A lot of things can be worked out. What are the different career options that you have in data analytics? You have a business analyst, you have data analyst, and this is how you move on. From business analyst, you move to data analyst to data engineer to data architect, and from there to data scientist. That's the last. And believe you me, data, all of these roles are today significant, and there's humongous amount of opportunities that are there, and the salaries are really huge. And this is the area where I feel that people in your careers, in the beginning of your careers, or in your second years or final years, should aspire to get into this career options, because these will remain throughout for at least a decade and a half, and you can really make a lot of options from all of these. Gig economy, I wanted to just give you a flavor of what it is, because today people don't after getting all of the skills, right, today opportunities are there right at their house, at their doorstep. They don't even have to go into another companies. You have various platforms that are available, like future of work and so on, where just you can go ahead and upgrade, and there are a lot of Upwork, I'm sorry, Upwork, and a lot of things are there. You just have to sign up, and then there's work coming in all the way. You can just keep doing your data crunching, and start earning a lot of money at the comfort of your homes. So this is what is gig economy. Gig economy is open up. Like you see the Swiggy guys, the Zomato guys. They just get to the platform. They make money on the weekends, and then they deplatform themselves, and then after that they manage it for the next 5 days. Similarly, the Uber drivers, or a lot of the gig workforce is happening. Similarly, within IT industry, there's a lot of uh, other areas like Upwork and all of that, where people sign up, get into the platform, and wait. And once there's work coming up, you can go ahead and get those work, and start making money, start monetizing your skills. So, how do you keep up with the industry 4.0? Is basically acquiring skills of the future, right? Like web, mobile, service technology, cloud native, AWS serverless, AI, robotics, and deep learning, Internet of Things, critical thinking, and soft skills. Soft skills, very, very important. You have to have the communication. You could be a techie, but if your communication is not up the mark, then you will not be able to communicate with the outside world. Communication is extremely key, and people think that hey, if I'm a techie, I will get a job. No, you won't. You have to get your thinking caps as well as your communication, and for that you have to develop your communication skills. Gaining expertise again. Traditional career ladder is actually dead right now. It is you just have to. It doesn't mean that you can just get into entry level to a management position. Fresh desk, Girish Matrabhudan, he was working in HCL as a techie in 99 2000. 20 years later, he is now owning a 10 billion market cap company, which was Freshdesk, which recently got launched in Nasdaq. Right? That's the thing. There's no traditional career ladder and all that. If you have it in you, if you have what it takes to really get to the next level, you can make it happen. That's how this whole thing is. You can start your own company, you can pay off, you can sign up, with all these platforms like Microsoft and all that. Get your emails, your physical spaces, and then you can start your own company. There is no traditional way of getting into it. Adapt, change is constant, so you have to be flexible in terms of how you adapt and be a chameleon. Start exploring open career models, and that's how it is. The sudden shift from permanent employees to freelancing isn't just a fad, right? It's the way today people are. Today, housewives are able to sign up to these platforms and get work pretty quickly. Top 5 skills for tomorrow, which I wanted to talk about, is this active listening. 58% of the CEOs rate this as the top thing. Today, active listening is not there. We listen to respond. It should be listen to understand. Speaking up, understanding how well things go. Critical thinking, how what could go wrong. Critically evaluate yourselves. Reading comprehension. When you read a small paragraph, understand what it talks about and quickly disseminate that information. Monitoring. Keep monitoring what comes up, because that's very, very important. Be it your personal education, be it your professional, whatever it is, keep monitoring yourselves. Understand where you are against competition, where you are against your peer group. This is my favorite quote from Alvin Toffler, and the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read or write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. And I use this effectively to all my people, and I feel this is a very, very relevant quote, and it's important that whatever we've learned, we also have to have the power of to unlearn and relearn new things. So with that, I'll turn it over to Nadeem. You can reach out to me if you have any questions, comments, or something. This is my email address. You can connect me on LinkedIn. I'll be very happy to guide you in my free time. And with that, thank you, Nadeem. I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for such a wonderful session. Now I would request the college magazine sir to please ask the students to, if they have any questions, they can ask. So we can allow them to speak also if they want. Either they can write their question in the chat box or whatever source they can. Magazines, are you there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Students, do you have any doubts, any queries to raise?
Anything regarding to data science and everything, because about the career or
Not
anything.
just data science. You can ask me anything if you have any questions on with regards to professional. Don't limit yourselves to data science. Since I am from the industry, use this opportunity and to ask the right questions. So I'll be more than happy to answer.
You can come over here and raise your queries.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
So I have a small question. I want to know a difference between how self-employment versus startups.
Can you repeat it? Sorry, what's the difference?
So, I want to get an idea of startup versus an employee in a company.
Okay. See, startup today. Let me tell you, right? The traditional model of employment. Whenever we, my father or when I started my career, our evolution after completing our graduation was to get into a company and start, making money, right? Through the salaries, right? Monthly salaries, and it was defined. But today, with the advent of technology and data science and a lot of things are there at the fingertips. Today, you can start a company with your credit card. That's how simple it is. All you have to do is sign up with the Microsoft thing. You get your access to Teams site. You get access to your emails. You get access to everything, right? Then you start a company. You can start at your house or at your dome, right? And then market it, leveraging the social media tools and so on. See, the idea is your product or your service should be the king. What is the solve that you're trying to do, right? Once you're able to make that distinction, then you're able to create magic, right? But if you feel that no, I'm risk averse, I cannot do all of that, I might have to go in for a monthly payout, then you can use the employment ladder, which is also today is very rewarding. But startup will give you an exponential growth, be it in your be it in your growth, professional growth, or your your monetary part. But I'm not painting a rosy picture. I can tell you that your efforts is 10x. You will have to slog like crazy, and your problem, the solve of your problem that you're trying to do, should be meaningful with the consumers. If that is not the case, then it will be another one more into the list. And after 3 years or whatever, once the money starts to deplete, you feel, oh no, it's demotivating to continue. Let me get into the job. So before you aspire to have a startup, you have to have that fire in the belly. I want to do it. Come hail or high waters, I will go ahead and do it. I will ensure that I'm risk averse and I am clear what is expected, what my consumers would want. Does it answer your question?
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yeah. One question from a BCA student is, I don't have much exposure to mathematics. Should I have a good knowledge of statistics to be a data analytics analyst or a data scientist?
Absolutely. I think statistics complements, data analytics. If you're a good statistician, and if you're able to understand the different facets of data, then you can always venture to data science. All you have to do is understand the concepts of statistics and how you're able to automate the different data insights.
Okay. So statistics is a added advantage to be a data scientist. Okay.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
So another question is, some of the apps, some of the tools are available for data analytics or data science.
Mhm.
Can you suggest some of the tools?
See, there are multiple, right? You have the mini tabs. You have, you can use even Excel, developing macros to get data analytics. Okay, there are hell a lot of tools. It's not one size fits all. Okay, it's up to you how best you are able to get the information from. You have this, Power BI kind of tools which are available from Microsoft. There are multiple tools. See, I won't recommend any single thing. What works well for you, it works well. Within Excel itself, take a dump and create macros and slice or dice, do VLOOKUPs and all of that. You'll get different insights. So what's the level of your refining of that data determines the tool that you will leverage. If you have to service a BMW, you know what are the tools required. If you have to service a Maruti 800, you know what tools are required, right? So tools are there. It's up to what you want to service, what kind of insights that you want to get.
Okay, so this question is from myself, from the faculty side. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. Currently, we are offering courses in BSc Computer Science and BCA. We want to revamp our syllabus for data science or data analytics. Currently, our students are exposed to mathematical foundations and some basic knowledge of statistics.
Mhm.
Okay. Then in addition to that, how we have to revamp our syllabus? Can you suggest, sir?
See, that's I'll give you some basic thing. Probability and some of the other elements of arrays and so on. It's not. I can't just give that as a vanilla approach. We'll have to look at it. Whether the people also understand, right? Recommending certain things. What exactly that do you want? Coming out of that particular course, you want people to have that. They should have some bit of prerequisites as well, which to understand. And if I recommend something which is very advanced, and if people are not able to kind of bridge themselves, then it becomes a catch-22 situation. So you'll have to look at it progressively. What kind of people that you're taking in the first year. What are the syllabus that you are exposing in math, and then in second year and final year, what are the subjects that we need to put together that complete model, and based on that we can offer some recommendations. I can't give that as a vanilla, because I won't do justice to the entire people, right, who will be going through, because one person might be extremely good in math, but other person, if he finds that the bridge is too much, he might lose interest on that, and we don't want that to happen.
Okay.
So if you want, you send me your thing, and then I can probably have a look at it and give my recommendations.
Yes, sir. That's the problem we are having. Some BSc boys are their basic essential qualification is they should have mathematics in their higher secondary. For BCA, mathematics is not mandatory for
Right.
them. So that's the problem we are facing. How to give them statistics and mathematics for them, advanced level of statistics for them in graduate level. That is the question we are having. Still, we plan to offer R programming, Python programming, and the advanced level of data structures, some advanced statistical packages like SPSS, those things we plan to incorporate in our syllabus.
Mhm.
So that it will be somewhat helpful for them later. That's what
Mhm.
our plan is in the coming years.
Okay.
Yeah. Students, any other questions, please? Yeah, please come. One student is coming.
Sure.
You can raise your question both in English or Tamil or in Urdu, whatever the medium you want. Please do.
Sir, in recent days, IT companies are migrating to Snowflake software's ETL tool. Do you think it is the most advanced ETL tool in recent days?
So say that again. Your voice is thing.
Sir, in recent days, IT companies are migrating to Snowflake ETL tools. Do you think Snowflake is the most advanced ETL tool in recent days?
Yeah, I've not even heard about that particular tool. See, don't get too paranoid with these tools. Okay, these tools will be there, and then tomorrow, the amount of upskilling. See, I'm part of workforce transformation. I lead workforce transformation. Okay. 2-3 months back, there was this huge demand for Facebook and LUM apps and all of that. Today, it's VMware Horizon 8. Okay, so 4 months back there was Google Workspace. Today it's all about Microsoft Slack, Teams, and so on. So technology is going at a breathtaking space, right? So it's not don't get too paranoid with all these tools and all that. They will keep going and coming. End of the day, what I want is you guys to really understand the concepts. Okay, concepts. वो बोलते हैं ना, if I have to give you an Urdu में एक if car चलाने आ गया तो whether it's BMW or thing जो भी है वो चला सकते हैं. तो understand the concepts. वही मैं बोलता हूँ पूरे students को. जब concepts नहीं समझ आता है ना तो कौन सा tool लिए तो भी नवा tool जैसा training लेना पड़ता है. समझ गया ना? You understand?
Yes, a little.
Yeah, so Snowflake or Apple or what, there are multiple tools there. Don't even get into the tools landscape. You will end up spending a lot of money and a lot of time and effort only learning stuff, but that will not be there. अब concept समझ जाओ और tools पूरा एक ही है. Tire बदली करना है. If you have to change the tire of a vehicle, whether it's MRF or whether it's Dunlop or whatever, right? The model remains the same. Yeah, so that's what. Focus on what it is. Understand the platform that it comes up with and what kind of tools that are part of that platform. That's it. After that, you are master of yourself. 1 week maximum, you will be able to unlearn and relearn yourself. That's why I said the previous slide, right? Unlearning, relearning.
Thank you.
Any other queries, boys? Anyone can raise your queries? Anything related with IT, data science?
No more questions, sir.
Any more questions?
Okay. So are we done with the question, sir?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you, sir. Thank you, Yahya sir, for such a wonderful session. And now I would request magazine sir to please give a vote of thanks, and then we will end the session. And for that, I would request the magazine sir to please share the feedback. I will be sharing a link for the session. So please ask the student to share their feedback. I have sent the link in the chat box. You will usually send the feedback also. Please, sir.
Certainly, sir. Our students will give their feedback and the link given to us, sir. So it's a time for vote of thanks. First of all, I would like to thank our management, especially our secretary, for giving us the permission to have this webinar on data science essentials. When I approached our principal, he really agreed and passed on our request to our secretary. And secretary, both of them, principal and secretary, both of them agreed and gave permission for the department to have this webinar, sir. I would like to express my sincere thanks to AMP for doing such a novel work, especially to Mr. Nadeem for arranging the resource person and continuously monitoring the progress and arranging for the resource person, Mr. Yahya Rasheed, sir. Sir, your session of past 1.5 hours is really thought-provoking and enlightening our students on automation and IT services, sir. Challenges faced by the companies, especially you exposed our students about Industry 4.0, cognitive computing, and AI-driven delivery, sir. And you exposed our students about some of the career opportunities in data analytics and what are the skills that are needed for the tomorrow's job, sir. So I know that you are quite busy with your profession. You took some time to spend some time with our students and expose our students to various options in data analytics, data sciences, various career opportunities there. What are the industry standards that are required now? How the students should expose themselves, how the students should improve themselves. Thank you very much, sir, for accepting our invitation, especially from the AMP, and deliver your lecture for this webinar, sir. Thank you very much, sir. I would like to express my sincere thanks to my department staff, especially Kader Maiden sir, Muhammad Nawaz sir, and the technical team for arranging all the technical points, all the technicals, and being of such a help to the department, sir. I express my sincere thanks to my beloved students for your patience listening and listening to this lecture. Certainly, you will be very much enlightened about what that has been delivered to you. Hope you must have gathered something out of this 1.5 hours. Hope we can arrange for such a seminars in the coming days also, Lord. Thank you very much. Thank you, one and all.